Let's say we wanted to make in module 8 this cathedral shape, and with two different types of roof geometries. One is based on a cone and one is a more angular roof edge. And one thing to mention here is that as we get to these complex geometries where there's diagonals and there's different types of curvatures, there are really an infinite number of ways to go about making this. Of course, you can imagine to plot every single individual line, and then theoretically all the shapes should sort of line up, at least on the flat parts of the shape. But using a strategic combination of guide measurements and of modifications to simpler objects, we can get theoretically at some pretty simple steps to make these shapes. I'm just going to show you one way to think through a problem like this. Look at the bottom. The base plate is actually quite a simple object. It's just a square with a semicircle. So we can go ahead and make that. We're going to make the 10 foot by 10 foot square using the rectangle command, and then we're going to make a circle. Or you can do an arc here. But with the circle, all you have to do is click at the center of the midpoint of one of the sides and go off to a corner, and then just go ahead and delete the objects you don't need, which are the lines. And you have a full surface here. Use the push-pull command and lift this up 10 feet. And now we are sort of up to the ceiling, and all we have to do is make this roof. Now, one good way to think about roofs, in which you can sort of identify a clear ridge, is if you were to project all the lines of the roof down onto the ceiling. So if you were to create these lines in this sort of shape here, and then from there you were to grab just the ridge and move that up, then theoretically with all the ideas of stickiness, then this form should just naturally generate itself. So let's just try that right now. Let's try to make the shape we see up here. Star. So we're going to use the lines. We're going to recreate this edge to the square. And then we're going to go ahead and make a line all the way down the middle. And then to make these 45-degree lines, give ourselves a guide measurement. We know that this distance is 5 feet from the midpoint to the edge. So we're going to go inwards 5 feet. We've given ourselves a node right here, which in fact was also just the midpoint of the line we had here. And from there we can go off to the edges. We can delete this line we won't be needing in the final object. So if we just select the ridge and click move and go ahead and just grab the midpoint or any part of this line, or really anywhere, and you'll notice that in fact the stickiness works, but SketchUp naturally thinks we're going to be working in this plane, so we have to physically tell it no by locking to the blue axis, so clicking up or down. And you can see immediately from there all our stickiness ideas were correct, and we should be able to specify any height from here. But for the purpose of completing the model, let's just go upwards 5 feet.